What's up, everyone? We are What If Sportscast. I'm Tim. This is Kyle. We're here for another week. We got a great one for you this week.
Yeah, I mean, we're pumped to be here. If you caught last week, we talked about Michael Jordan. What if he never retired the first time? So if you didn't catch that episode, definitely go check it out. But this week, we're talking Seahawks. We're going back to football. Yep. Super Bowl 49 in
2014-15 season. So technically the Super Bowl was 2015, but the 14-15 season. Yep. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah, the infamous interception at the 1 yard line. So what if the Seahawks ran the ball instead?
Mm-hmm. So what happened was 26 seconds left on the clock. Well, the clock was going down, but when they snapped it, 26 seconds left on the clock. It was 2nd and 1 from the 1 yard line.
Yep.
Down by 4 to beat the Patriots. You got Marshawn Lynch, beast mode on your team. You throw it, picked off, game over.
Yeah, they ended up running a pick play. It was supposed to be Curse, the running back. He was supposed to make a block on Malcolm Butler. And then it was supposed to be a wide open, like a tight throw, but still open receiver. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Curse missed the block. Butler made the play and got the interception, won the game for the Patriots.
So first of all, if they run the ball, do they win?
I agree. Yeah.
You think they win?
So, for sure.
Because I don't know if it was. So I think they should have ran. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was a complete guarantee, however.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, New England knew you were running it. Yep. I bet you they were caught off guard that you didn't run it.
Yeah.
So you knew you were running it. They're in their goal line package. So it's like, all right, they're stacked up there kind of thing. It's not a guarantee for 1 yard. It's not like the tush push is now, where if you're at the 1 yard line, so they had a timeout as well. That's a big thing too. So if they ran it, didn't get it, you could call a timeout, throw it twice. It's 3rd and 1, you can throw it twice. Because for me, the very worst thing that could have happened if they run it, he doesn't gain anything.
Exactly, and then you just call the timeout. You have
two
plenty of
times
time
to throw the ball.
You have 2 downs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But at the time, then the Patriots know you're not going to be running the ball.
Maybe
if you don't have any timeouts, they know you're not going to run the ball. So I guess that kind of puts it there too. I think they would have won it. I think they should have done it. Mm-hmm. I can kind of see why they didn't.
Yeah.
Well, though.
So let's go into why we both think why they didn't run the ball.
Mm-hmm. And so Lynch, that year, he led the league in touchdowns in the 2014-15 season. However, with 1 yard to gain, and this wasn't just 1 or 1st and goal or whatever, it was 1 yard to gain anywhere on the field. For the entire season, he had 28 attempts that he ran the ball. He converted 20 of the times, failed only 8. Now, I don't know how the other running backs in the league did with 1 yard to go. However, that's a 71.4% conversion rate. Not bad, but it's not like a guarantee either.
Yeah.
And then the Patriots run defense in the 14-15 season with 1 yard to go when they actually ran it, because I'm sure they had more first or 2nd and 1, whatever, but they passed it as well. But when they actually ran it, they had 37 attempts against them, 29 conversions, 8 failed. So a 78.4% rate against them, which to me is not the greatest. However, I don't know exactly what the other teams in the league did as well. Yeah. And so I think it was Collinsworth said, he's like, well, this is automatic down there, especially with Marshawn Lynch. He's one of the best in the league. Yeah. Like, he's pretty much automatic. He's not automatic.
Yeah,
this shows it's not automatic.
And you could kind of see it with just watching that game as well. Like, in that game, there was 3 instances with, like, 3rd downs or under 3 yards to go. Like, 3 yards to gain. Mm-hmm. He was 1 for 2 in that game, in those situations.
So he got one and he missed one?
Yes.
Kind of thing? Okay.
And then also, Lynch total yards inside the Patriots' 10-yard lines. He had 11 yards on 5 carries. So that's only 2.2 yards per carry.
But you only need 1 yard.
Which, you only need 1. But I would want to say, like, if I'm under 10 yards, I want him to be closer to that, like, 3 or 4. For the game, he had 102 yards on 24 carries, or 4.3 yards per carry.
Which is pretty good.
Which is pretty good. Maybe
and
like
that doesn't even include,
maybe closer to average.
That
but
doesn't include his receptions too.
Yeah, he had a 31-yard reception that ended up like getting them to the goal line. Yeah. Actually, so
well, and Lynch wasn't necessarily, I feel like, known as like this power back that if you need 1 yard, you're getting. Yeah. He was more of a shifty back, who was incredible at breaking arm tackles and getting yards after the catch, especially after he got to full speed. You know, he was very shifty and stuff, and so it wasn't like like Derrick Henry, for example. Yeah. Like Derrick Henry, if you need 1 yard.
He's running you over.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's so... The more I think about it, because if you would have just first asked me, I'm like, why didn't they run it? Obviously run it. When I dug a little deeper into it, I see...
You kind of see what Pete Carroll was thinking. Yeah.
So there's another thing, too. Did Pete Carroll call a run and Russell Wilson switch it to a pass?
I don't think so at all, because... I mean, you see reports of Pete Carroll. He saw the personnel that was on the field, and he thought that, hey, we're going to catch them sleeping, and they're not expecting the pass, and so we're going to pass.
He looked confused almost, though, after. When Russ was coming back off, like after the interception.
I think he kind of just did that as, like, maybe to save face or whatever.
Well, do you think it was that, or do you think he was just... He no way thought that it was going to be an interception.
Yeah, I mean, I think, no way. Because he's also said, too, is like, hey, even if it's an incomplete pass, like, we still have 2 downs and a timeout to work with.
If it's an incomplete pass, you're probably going to run on 3rd down.
Probably.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
Then you have a timeout. If you don't get it.
Yep. You got one more pass.
You can run or pass at that point.
Yeah.
Because on 4th down, it does not matter if you're running or passing.
Yeah.
Okay. Say they score. Mm-hmm. Okay, say they score. Marshawn Lynch scores. They go up by 3. About 20 seconds left.
I think there's no
way. New England
way.
has 2 timeouts.
There's no way that Patriots come back.
Dude, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Tom Brady's the GOAT, man. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
But that was the Legion of Boom. Like, that wasn't, like, I'm not saying they were the best defense ever, but they were known for their defense. Mm-hmm. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas... They were the Legion of Boom. They literally had a nickname after themselves of stopping offenses. And
they did.
So I think even with 2 timeouts, you'd have like maybe 20 seconds. If they scored that touchdown, their win percentage is probably 95%.
I'd say higher than that.
I'd say probably higher than that.
Because you're looking, say you fair catch or whatever the kickoff, so there's no time off. Say you have 18 seconds.
Yeah.
You could get 3 plays. You have 2 timeouts, 3 plays, and then you have to kick a field goal.
Yep.
I believe it was it Vinatieri at the time? Was on New England?
Yeah.
He's got a strong leg.
He does.
Do you think Tom Brady could have got down there?
I think he would have. He might have been in his head too a little. Probably not because it's Tom Brady, but the play. Well, the drive before that, he threw an interception.
No, that's how they took the lead. They took the lead. Tom Brady did it to take the lead. Yeah. And then Seattle came down and made, I can't remember who it was, but made a miraculous catch. If you do that 100 times. That was Curse. Okay. Yeah. If you do that 100 times, that's probably the only time you're doing it to get them even in that position. And it's kind of crazy. So 2 plays before the infamous interception. Mm-hmm. Or no, not 2 plays. I'm sorry. The play before, it was 1st and goal at like the 9. Yep. And Marshawn Lynch gets them to the 1 yard line.
Exactly.
Dude. And then the thing with me too, you're in a shotgun, 1 yard to go. It drives me insane. Yeah. Because if there ends up being something, you can run it. You're not going to probably run it on. I don't know. It's just,
I kind of wonder too how much Russell Wilson's height went into that play, because Russell Wilson is known to be, he's a short quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's 5'11", I think. Most quarterbacks are 6'3" or higher. Yeah. And a play like that in the red zone at the 1 yard line, everybody's scrunched together, everybody's boxed in, and your linemen's, like your offensive line and defensive line, they're over 6 feet. How much of a window did Russell Wilson even have? Like, he might not even seen where he's throwing. So it's like, hey, did his height play into that? Yeah. I bet you it did.
For me on those two, I'd probably throw like a fade.
Yeah, but
something almost
I mean,
like-
the Seahawks didn't really have like any wide receivers or like really a tight end.
But just you're throwing it like you just said.
that.
He's shorter. Okay?
Yeah.
You're throwing it in so much congestion because he's coming into the middle. There's already all those people lined up for the run. There's so much stuff. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I just think it's a bad play call personally.
Yeah.
And they ran something like that similar all year long.
Yeah.
New England, Bill Belichick, great defensive coach. He knows what's coming.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so I think they had just like the perfect defense out there for that as well.
I think so too. And I mean, the Seahawks, they were obviously trying to target the rookie Malcolm Butler. They were doing that a lot all game. So yeah, they're probably trying to catch, hey, let's see how good of a rookie this actually is. And Malcolm Butler actually he was actually one of the better cornerbacks for the Patriots in their dynasty. So, but yeah, I agree. I think the play call was just so like, for Pete Carroll being as good of a coach as he is, I think that play call brings him down like a huge peg, a huge step down.
Well, and
Because
if they win, then Pete Carroll is there. People are probably saying that he's one of the best coaches of that time. At least.
exactly. And
With the loss, yeah, they still won another Super Bowl. But with that loss, it affected that Super Bowl, and then it also affected years to come. Because who knows? If they would have won that Super Bowl, that next year, they lost in, I believe, the divisional round to Carolina, who ended up making the Super Bowl. The Broncos, they beat them.
Yep.
But say they end up getting there instead of like they beat Carolina. Like, who knows, you know, because there would have been different players.
Yep.
They win. Who knows with Broncos and or Seattle?
Yeah.
I mean, Broncos kill them, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean, though. So then it's all right. You're going for 3
Exactly.
instead of 2.
Yeah, so Russell Wilson, he would have 2 Super Bowls by the time he was 26. And he'd be in the conversation of Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, maybe greatest quarterback of his generation.
See, I don't know if he like. It's not like he even had great stats because it's like he would won 2 Super Bowls. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know, I still think Peyton Manning, Tom Brady are way ahead of that guy.
Yeah.
But I guess there's probably just some discussion. And then if they win, I think you almost have to put them as favorites the next year, even with the Broncos there.
Probably.
You probably have that because there's so many free agents too that would think about coming there because then they would win 2 Super Bowls. They're like, hey, we have a great chance at winning some more Super Bowls because you have your core and your nucleus still there.
Yeah, I think a big difference between Russell Wilson and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, like you said, is Russell Wilson was a dual threat. He ran the ball really well and could pass really well, which Tom Brady and Peyton Manning couldn't really do that. They were pocket presence and pocket passers and more field generals. Russell Wilson, hey, if something isn't happening, he could make something happen with his legs.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, with the loss as well, I think the defense didn't trust Pete Carroll as much, didn't trust Russell Wilson as much. Because you saw that with certain defensive players come through and they were, I don't know if they necessarily exactly said it. However, I think you could tell, you know? And so I think like Sherman and stuff, he definitely, you could tell that, hey, he was kind of pissed at those guys.
Yeah, there was a lot of reports with that. Richard Sherman, the rest of the Legion of Boom, they were like dumbfounded by the call, which obviously they're sitting on the sideline and you're probably thinking, all right, they're going to run the ball, we're going to win. Like, they're getting ready to celebrate probably.
Well,
So,
and then Marshawn Lynch, who knows if he would have, because he technically retired, I believe, after the next year, even though he signed a 2-year contract. But then he went to Oakland and all this different stuff.
Yeah.
And so who knows exactly what would have happened, you know? Yeah, you have no idea. But
he It could have been too. There's rumors that the Seahawks wanted the face of the team to be Russell Wilson, and had Marshawn Lynch been the hero, that maybe Marshawn Lynch would have been more the face of the team. So there was stuff with that. So maybe, hey, we're gonna pass the ball instead of running the ball, so Russell Wilson gets the glory. Who knows? I doubt that was really a thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
because
never know.
In that situation, you can't just say, like, I mean, I know there's rumors about it and stuff, but you want it still to win.
Yeah,
So you're still
exactly.
looking at what's the best possible play for us to win the game.
Exactly.
And so, I don't know. And who knows? Maybe Russ never becomes a Denver Bronco. Maybe he stays there. Pete Carroll stays there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
He was still on his rookie deal. So that was also a big thing about Russell Wilson is, hey, you still got this quarterback on a rookie deal that, hey, he's just won you 2 Super Bowls. And, yeah, we're going to just continue to build around him.
Exactly. Yep. And there just wouldn't have been as much turmoil and stuff. So, I don't know. Our last kind of thing, though.
Well, real quick before we get into a last thing, I got a question for you. The Patriots dynasty. Do you think if the Seahawks would have won, do you think anything changes with the Patriots?
I don't know if it changes necessarily with the Patriots. I think it does affect Tom Brady a little bit.
Yeah.
However, he won 7. Say he wins 6 instead of 7.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl era, there's never been another 6, even a 6 wins. So he still wins 6.
Yeah.
But right now you're saying, all right, if it wasn't for Eli Manning, then he's winning 9 kind of thing. All this stuff. Well, by him losing to another team, Russell Wilson, does that change a little bit? I think it does to a little bit. I still think he is considered the GOAT.
Yeah.
I do think it affects it, though, a little bit, because then you're going from, because they won in 2016 as well, I believe.
Yep.
So 2017 kind of, like the 2 years later or whatever.
Yep.
But you're going from winning 2 in 3 years to 1 in the last
4
8 years or something. I can't remember exactly. So I do think it affects it a little bit, but I still think Tom Brady is still considered the GOAT, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, we just had to talk about that as well, because if Seahawks would have won, then that means Patriots would have lost, so that would have affected it a little bit. But yeah, like you said, Tom Brady, he still would be determined. Like, he'd still be the greatest of all time.
Like I said, who knows? They get it with 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
Say they score.
They still might have won.
And it's just, that could have just added even more historic, to Tom Brady, which
exactly.
To me, I'm like, that sucks. Because it's like, I don't like Tom Brady. I don't want him to win.
Yeah.
I was a Bronco fan. We never wanted him to win. So I don't remember for sure. I think I was going for, I'm sure I was going for Seattle in that. So it was like, man,
I definitely was. But,
but
yeah, let's get into, so we got to talk about free agency. If the Seahawks won, what it would have looked like. But first, let's go into what actually happened. So what actually happened is the Seahawks did lose some people. Their key loss was, I forget the guy's name, Byron Maxwell. So Byron Maxwell was part of the Legion of Boom. He was a cornerback alternate of Richard Sherman, usually took on the number 2 wide receiver, but he signed a 6-year deal with the Eagles that offseason.
Yep. And then Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, and then they also traded center Max Unger and a first-round pick for Jimmy Graham from the Saints. Because of that play, they needed a red zone threat.
Which is huge. I mean, Jimmy Graham, especially at that time, was arguably one of the best tight ends, in the game.
He's a Hall of Fame tight end, I'm pretty sure.
Well, and they needed a tight end either way, just like you said, that big guy, especially down in that's kind of Jimmy Graham's. That's a lot of tight ends, kind of bread and butter right down there. So who knows if they would have had that.
Exactly.
And so it ended up not... Well, they still had a chance to win the Super Bowl the next year. It obviously didn't. But I think there was just so much stuff as well.
Well, so, the Byron Maxwell, departure, I don't think that really impacted him that much. Obviously, you need.
I think at the time, yes, it did.
Yeah.
Because he was your number 2 right behind Sherman. I mean, he signs with the Eagles 6 years, $63 million.
Exactly.
Especially at that time.
That's big money.
Exactly. I mean, it's huge money still, but
yeah,
that's one of the top cornerbacks on the market.
Exactly.
That's a big hole right there. If they win, does he leave?
Probably not, because I also think a big reason why he left is because we touched on this, that play call kind of angered some people.
Him.
So
yep, exactly.
It's like, hey, so yeah, I agree, but I mean, he didn't really work out with the Eagles. He returned to the Seahawks briefly in 2017, but after that, didn't really do much. He wasn't the player that he was in the Eagles that he was at the Seahawks.
Yep.
So I'm just saying it seemed like he was a good player, but in the Seahawks system, he was a great player.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
And you see that with, say, in basketball, like Jokic. Yeah. You see KCP, Bruce Brown.
Yep.
They're not the same players when they leave and don't play with Jokic.
Exactly.
It's the same kind of thing, And that's the same, with a good team, it's just all the systems. And, if they had one, do they still go after Jimmy Graham or a big tight end or something? Because Julius Thomas from the Broncos, they could have went for him as well.
Yeah.
But thankfully they didn't because he was a huge part of the Broncos in that Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I think they probably would have gone after somebody. I don't know if they would have made a big free agency signing. The biggest two, like you said, was Thomas and then Ndamukong Suh. I don't even know if I said his name right. Probably not.
When you said Kong, all I could think of was Donkey Kong.
But yeah, Suh, he signed with Miami for $114 million deal. So I don't think they would have made that many big signings because.
Well, and Russell Wilson was coming off of his rookie contract, so that's a huge part of the money.
Exactly.
The guy that and he probably would have gotten even a little bit more if they would have won. Honestly,
for sure.
I mean, I'm not sure how much more because it was one play kind of thing, but it was his fault, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, he did throw the pick,
yeah.
So who knows? So bottom line, we think if they run it, they win?
Yes. 100%.
Dude, I'm not. I don't know.
I feel like you're a 95%.
I think that was the right play to run it. With Marshawn Lynch, with beast mode, to win the Super Bowl, you need to put it in his hands. Yeah. At least one time before a timeout. Because,
especially the play before.
Well, and like we just said, you run it, take a timeout. Say there's 15 seconds left. You throw it, you don't get it. Fourth down, you can run it or throw it. Yeah. So you have a chance. Now, if you don't get that, I guess you still have technically 2 chances you can run or throw. Mm-hmm. However, I think you need to run it in that, especially the play before he gets you to the 1 yard line.
Exactly. It's just so dumb.
Stack your guys up there and just try to push that through. And worst comes to worst, you call a timeout.
Yep. But so let's go into the free agency what ifs of.
But we kind of already said that with Suh, Julius Thomas, and stuff like that. And so, and it's you never know, with money and different stuff like that and stuff. So this is all just hypothetical, what we're thinking and stuff. But I don't know. I think, like you said, I think they should run it. I think they should have ran it. I think
so too.
The majority of people say they should run it. I think the people that are saying that they shouldn't have run it are almost, maybe they're Seattle fans and they're like, no, this wasn't, they're trying to kind of say to themselves that it was.
I don't think you can really. I feel like we tried to make a good argument of why they should have passed, but I don't think when you put that argument up against them running it, running it sounds way better, and I don't know what we can really add to it of, it was a good decision and it was the smart move, and obviously it's a lot easier to say that after the fact, but even during the play, I can't see.
Well, and I think we can just keep talking about this, and that's going to be about every one of our topics. Yeah. There's going to be just so much, but we don't really want to repeat ourselves as well. Yeah. And so we're going to cut it off.
Yep.
Let us know what you think, because there is a lot of stuff that people, I guarantee, I would say the majority of people are going to agree with us saying, hey, run the ball. You have Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
Eat some Skittles, baby.
Yeah.
Eat some Skittles. We should have had Skittles.
We should have.
Dang it. But it's, oh man, I hope people say what you think. If we miss something, let us know, because
please.
Hey, there could be something that we just didn't even think of, and they're like, oh, that play works 95% of the time during the season for them. I'm sure, but who knows? Hopefully you liked this week, though.
Yeah.
If you guys have other topics that we're gonna if you want us to hit up, definitely let us know, because this can go anywhere. I know we're going to do some stuff with Wayne Gretzky here coming up.
Yep.
There's going to be some different stuff in basketball. We'll probably go into some Nuggets stuff just because we love it. That's our bread and butter.
And we don't even have to do like past stuff too. We could do stuff that happened a year ago or earlier, like this season, or anything like that. And we love doing the research. But yeah,
these first three, I've thought I've known some more stuff.
Exactly.
And once we start really going into the research, I'm like, hey, I didn't know that.
You feel like you didn't know that thing at all.
Exactly. And
And
especially
it's also,
Jordan. Oh, that was a big one for me.
It's also just fun going back on memory lane and seeing like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. So.
But let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you have any other topics that you want us to hit. But we are What If Sportscast, and hopefully you have a great week.
Yep.
Peace.